Hey guys, I am just catching up because Google did one of those things again where they're like, we're going to log you out of your account. So I had to log back in. But I'm catching up on stuff. This week we have our first new moon of the year in Capricorn. So I definitely want to talk about that with you guys today. Um, hi, good morning, Jenny. Good morning. Hello, everyone. Wow. Um, I am catching up with my own brain right now. But we're doing a great job of it. How's everybody else doing? How's your weekend been? How are you grounding and taking care of yourself and all of those wonderful things? A huge hello to AJ, Armad, to Jenny, and to Kristen and Lauren. Good morning, everyone. Just pulling up my notes here for the new moon in Capricorn, and now I am all set. So, yeah, cool. I'm here. I'm ready. Rough year so far. Understatement. And it's funny. I'm doing more and more research on the Aries ingress. I'm comparing different techniques from different eras, from different astrologers in the same eras, and all of those things. And it's such a dichotomy because I am getting so confident and impressed by the skills that I'm learning with the Aries ingresses and how to do mundane or world astrology. Um, so I'm like finally starting to feel like I'm clicking into place after 3 years of trying to study this and get really good at it. I'm finally starting to feel like, oh, I recognize the things and it's starting to fall into place. And then I remember that the things that are falling into place and the predictions that go along with the charts are not my favorite things at all. So while the astrology is finally clicking, what the astrology is saying is like, really? This, more of this? But again, I want to emphasize no matter what's happening in the world, it is so important to realize, and this goes back in astrology as well, we can have challenging eras and epochs of time. And within those, we will still have good transits. They still occur. Just like in a challenging period of our lives, good things can still happen. We can still make good memories. We can still find reasons to smile or laugh. So make sure that as we talk about world astrology, we talk about world astrology, right? There's a whole other branch of astrology that talks about how your year is going to be individually. And that would be natal astrology. And we could do a consultation for that, looking exactly at your chart and making the most out of everything that's coming up. So when we talk about world astrology, what we're talking about is mostly what you're going to see in the headlines, right? It's the headlines and what they're going to say for the year, and then how that's going to shape society. That's world astrology. That's mundane astrology. So it's important as people start really getting into the 2026 astrology and here's what's going to happen and here's what's going to happen, that you find ways to ground yourself and say, the world is continuing to evolve. Yes. It's going to have things that I like to see at some points of it, and it's going to have things that I am abhorrent of. And in all of that, we will continue to become whatever it is we're supposed to become. We will continue to find ways to take action when to take action, take rest when it's time to take rest. And those are the only responsibilities we have day to day, right? What is my calling today? And how is it allowed to change from yesterday? And how will it be allowed to change tomorrow? So those are some of the things I keep in mind as I turn to my honeycomb almanac every morning and say, like, here's some of the headlines that fits this astrology, and here's additional astrological techniques that aren't in honeycomb that I'm also recording. And then here is this. Yes, magic and good happened even during some terrible times in the past. Kristen, right on. Do the next right thing for you. I love it. I agree. So, yes, good morning to everyone. Aurora, it's great to see you. And we have this, right? Like, no one can take this. This moment, this hour of the week, all of you and your wonderful energy. This is magic and good in my time and in my moments. Is there a transit that says no work, just sleep in? Yes, particularly in your own personal astrology. If you want the days of your month, because why not monthly, right? If you want to find the days of your month where you're like, maybe I should just, take a mental health day or whatever. You want to take your like self-care days when the moon is transiting your fourth house in your own natal chart, whatever sign that is. Mental health days, if you want, take them when the moon's transiting your 12th. There you go. I also agree with Kristen every day. every day, whenever you feel you need it. Because again, astrology shouldn't tell you what to do, it should affirm what you're choosing. So I always like to do that. Yeah. Yeah, I use Frozen 2 for a lot of references these days, Jenny. Grounding has been a challenge, but walks have helped. Walks are a cornerstone of my day right now. The movement of energy. I feel myself getting overwhelmed, even just like playing a video game. And the other day, something happened in a video game, and I was like, I'm getting too upset about this. I need to go for a walk. And I did. Fortunately, we had good weather over the weekend. We do not right now. It's annoying as heck, but yeah. Cool. So I just finished my vocal exercises for the day. So you can kind of hear it a little bit. I'm learning some mixed belting and stuff. I'm getting better at it and I'm really proud of myself. But I also need some more water. It's nice to recognize that the universe also recognizes this is not fun. I'm actually going to go into this a little bit, Jenny. Yes, it kind of does. One of the things that my mentor and I constantly remind ourselves is that the universe, or in the case of our context, like the planets, they're not taking sides. They don't care about the toilings of humanity, right? They're shaping the world, progressing time, and that's what they do, right? Just like the tides come in and out. And if you're riding and surfing and you're having a great time with that, awesome. But if you're like caught in a riptide, which I have been once, it's not the most fun experience for you. The ocean doesn't care. It's coming in, it's going out. So the universe is motion and change and balance in whatever way that is. But I will also say, when the malefics are on the move, it's like the universe is saying, yes, I understand this is not a good time. And right now, the malefics this year are kind of on the move. So I will agree with you, especially to that extent, that the universe is like, hey, it's not a fun time. But that's okay. Singing and dancing are the best ways to clear your energy. Me too, Lauren. When something really good happens and I have too much energy and I'm overwhelmed, I sing. When I'm nervous about something, I sing. It's just one of my things. So I figured I might as well try to get skilled at it. And it's working. I'm really excited. Yeah. So deep breath for everybody. I hope we're all doing well. It is Monday. It is January 12th. We are all here together. And those are some things, those are some great affirmations too, right? Like affirmations are sometimes like, I'm happy every day in every way. And sometimes we're like, I can't make myself feel happy today. What we can do is say, it is today. I am with these people. I am happy to be with these people. And my affirmation for the year is I will figure it out. Cause dang it, I will. Like, don't test me. I'll figure it out. And hopefully we all will too. So who wants to hear a little bit about our first new moon of 2026 in the sign of Capricorn? It's a little bit busy. What isn't these days? I feel like a broken record as an astrologer sometimes, where I'm like, it's this, and it just is again. But there are some things that we can do on a personal level again to work with it. So yes, all right, I am getting ready to bring up the chart. So let's get ready to look at the new moon, first new moon of the year. Moon's in Capricorn. What does that mean, and how can we work with it? Okay. Excuse me very much. Oh my gosh, AJ, I love those emojis. Okay. So we are going to bring up La 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 Luna. Okay, can everybody sees Luna here? Awesome. So, new moon in Capricorn coming up on January 18th, 2:51 p.m. if you're on the East Coast. So, yes, chart. So, what we're seeing for the new moon this year, the Capricorn new moon this year, is right here. We click on our moon, it helps us to narrow things down a little bit. But again, pretty busy, right? I clicked on the moon to try to filter out stuff that's not talking to the moon, and that got rid of basically just Jupiter. If I click on the moon, everybody except for Jupiter and what was that, Pluto, they're all still here. So this shows us, and honestly, it wasn't Pluto, it was the descendant. Pluto's right here and Venus are right here. I know that this program is like, hey, they're still kind of conjunct the sun and the moon. In traditional astrology, we actually have parameters for this, and we give 3 degrees roughly for that conjunction, especially over a cusp. So you can see the sun, the moon, Mercury, and Mars are in Capricorn. Venus is creeping up on Pluto here in Aquarius. They're in signs next to each other. Typically, if someone's right next to you, they're almost out of your peripheral vision, and you'd have to turn your head to see them. So that's considered like a blind spot, the same way as it is in a car, right? So because they are over the cusp there, I would actually remove those two when narrowing in on the moon as well, because the way the signs go is you have 28 degrees, 29 degrees, 0 degrees, 1 degree. So that's 4. Venus is maybe close still, given the degree minutes here, but Pluto is not conjunct to the new moon. I wouldn't call it that. So that is one of the things that I'm going to just clarify. Different thought systems and schools of thought in astrology have different, they're called orbs. It's the orb of influence. But that's kind of what I stick to, especially when we're dealing with crossing over the fence of a sign cusp, right? Like you'd have to literally talk to someone over the fence to do that. And that's not a clear conversation. So in my mind, I really like the way that fits. And so I work with it that way. So keeping this in mind, when we look at the moon, we see she's conjunct the sun. That's how we know it's a new moon. Sun and moon conjunction is always going to be a new moon. It's always going to occur in the same sign that the sun is in. So whatever solar season it is, whatever month it is, that new moon is going to be in that same solar season. We're at the very end of Capricorn season here. And very close are Mercury and Mars. They are conjunct each other. Mercury has pulled ahead of Mars by a little bit, but they're still on the same degree. It's still there. And they are within 2 degrees of this. So we're going to call this a quadruple conjunction. In fact, that would be a stellium, right? There still is, and there was an even larger one when Venus was there a couple days ago, but there is still a stellium in Capricorn at this point, and it is still opposing, albeit now widely opposing Jupiter. The full moon we had before, she was just like right on the dot opposing Jupiter. The moon was conjunct Jupiter, but the sun was opposing Jupiter, and so was everything in Capricorn. So Jupiter is still in that play going on here, but it's separating. So we're seeing them sort of pulling out of that influence. And so we think about like Mars and Mercury in Capricorn with a new moon, right? That's a lot of keywords that give us some heft of meaning to go behind them. So a new moon begins a new cycle. The moon is beginning a new month in the lunar months. So what we see here, it's giving Mean Girls, if Venus were over there too, I would especially agree with you on that one too. So what we see is a new moon, new cycle, moon's not visible, not a lot of light. We are in the brewing energy of something yet unseen. So the seed is planted. It is still under the ground. We haven't even seen the little sprout yet. Something is being planted in this moment. And on a personal level, check your own Capricorn house for that. Wherever Capricorn falls in your chart, a seed is being planted in that area of your life that is governed by the house. So like for my case, it's the 3rd house. So there's a seed being planted in my 3rd house topics, which is like communication, transportation, traveling, writing, paperwork, learning, those kinds of things. We'll find out. And yeah, so something is being planted. One can't agree. Yeah. Except, no, especially if you're Glenn Cuoco. Okay. So that's the new moon. And we've only just talked about the new moon. It's a new moon in the context of Capricorn. Capricorn is a cardinal earth sign. So that cardinal energy is something that likes to begin, likes to bring about, likes to start something. I always like to say it's like the snapping of a finger. You snap and something's there. You light a match. In this case, it's earth, right? It's the first dig into to the breaking of soil in something, right? We're breaking ground with something here. And it might be groundbreaking. Who knows? We'll find out. So when we see that, we think, okay, something is breaking ground at this moment, something that is ideally built to last, something that might be foundational, something that might be surrounding the topics within the context of your house, but topics such as governance, organization, foundational beliefs and structures that you build upon, right? This is the first layer of the house. It's the keystone or the cornerstone of something that says, okay, we're getting ready to build the foundation that will then support things coming later. So, what are you spreading a foundation for in this moment? What ground are you breaking that you are getting ready to build upon? And are you building upon the right foundations, right? You think about the three little pigs, right? Building your house on, of straw or on sand or on stone or all of those things. So, keep in mind this weekend, if you want to start something or if you notice something beginning, ask yourself what is beginning, and how committed do I feel to this. Commitment, reliability, those are very earthly connotations, so we can think about that as well. To add flavor to this, I like to say the planets are like the toppings on the pizza, right? So we've already laid down the dough. That's the sign. You can add the sauce based on whatever house it is for you. And now we're doing the toppings. So the toppings are, we're adding flavor of Mercury and Mars. It's a bit of a spicy pizza. And I say that because Mars is still in Capricorn. And I'm actually going to Google something here really quickly, because Mars is also very near this week the exact degree of Capricorn. That is the degree of exaltation, which is 28. So the moon is on Mars's degree of exaltation. Mars will catch up in a couple days. And so what we find is Mars creeping up to that degree of exaltation. That is, of Capricorn, Mars is loved there. But when Mars gets to 28, it's the 10 minutes of fame, right? So that's what we're seeing Mars kind of approaching, and Mercury is along for the ride in this. So Mercury is talking about it. Mars, if we think about Mars topics, right? Mars brings conflict, brings heat, brings stirring words, right? If we think about Mercury as the speaker, the orator, the writer, then we think about Mars as the one who's like deciding that the tone is a little bit aggressive in that communication. So around this Capricorn new moon, I would say in the headlines, we might expect to see some angry headlines or some headlines that are meant to create a sense of urgency, of anger, or things that make us feel a lot. So make sure you breathe through that, and don't become the person the headlines want you to become. Become the person you're going to become because you've decided. That's a huge thing, I think, that is going to lead us through 2026. We have to decide who we are. We can't let ourselves be shaped and influenced by what's going on around us. I think that's going to happen a lot, where things coming across as objective, it's going to be harder, right? We're going to have a lot of subjective opinions and thoughts and things like that being shared as fact, rather than here's information for you to consider and make your own opinions on. It's going to be, you should think this, you should do this, you should do that. You should not should on anybody, least of all yourself. So in everything, no matter how much pressure you feel, this is the year where, like, what is propaganda in a personal sense but peer pressure, right? Say no to that. Say no to that. Be who you're going to be. Take whatever you feel about something. Realize that it's telling you about your values and about your morals. Understand that. Give your feelings space. I feel this especially the following week. Give your feelings space. Process it. And then when you come back to a place where you're like, okay, that's where you decide, what does this mean for me in my next course of action? And that's going to be important stuff. This is probably what is some of what's being planted during this new moon. So when we think about this new moon, just going to refer to my notes here to make sure I didn't miss anything. It's applying to Venus. So the moon will go across our line there in Capricorn and will conjoin Venus as its next aspect. So there are connections to be made. There are values, especially on a societal level. Aquarius is a very social sign, connects people in very broad ways. So it's, what do your values, your Capricornian foundations, lead you to connect with as far as your values in society? Those are some really cool things that you can think about. And again, choose the mentality. This is a cool thing I get to think about. Don't put too much pressure on yourself to be everything all at once. Find the place that feels natural for you and realize that you bring value there. You naturally bring value to places that feel easy for you, right? Not everybody feels easy in the same circumstances as you do. So know that just because it feels easy doesn't mean you're not special there or you're not needed there. It means you're natural there, and that's your space to thrive. So, one of the ways I even talk about applying this is the affirmation that I've made for this. If you want another one, is I create my path one step at a time. Take this one step at a time, process things as much as you need to. Think about what success looks like and feels like on a daily basis, and then reverse engineer all of that. Where do you want to be at the end of the year? Where do you want to be in 5 years? Whatever you're inspired to think about in whatever situation. Sometimes it's like weeks and months. What is success in this thing that feels important to you feel like? What does it feel like? What does it look like? When you feel that feeling, what images come up to you? Because when we feel something, you can actually start thinking, oh, well, comfort to me, I think a couch with video games. Great. How can you create that in your life? Now you have the image, but the feeling is the starting point, or can be. It's a really great hack in manifestation to feel it first and then say, what tangible images reflect that feeling when I think about it? Daydream. Do what you got to do. So think about what success looks like, reverse engineer back to where you are now and the little steps that are going to help you get there. And that's your plan. You've come up with a plan. And it's not an I have to do everything all at once kind of thing. It's a today I do this, tomorrow I'll do it again, or I'll do something different. I can course correct at any time. So those are some things to think about with this new moon in Capricorn. Now, the people that may feel this on a personal level a little bit more than usual are going to be people with cardinal placements or cardinal angles. Cardinal is the type of sign that Capricorn is, but it's also what Aries, Libra, and Cancer are. So if you are a Capricorn, Aries, Libra, or Cancer rising, this is going to be at an angular point of your chart. And you may notice it a little bit more because it's in your full view, right? We were talking before about a sign being in your peripheral vision. Nope, this is direct for you. It's like right there. You can feel it. You can see it happening. So you may notice this showing up a little bit more in your reality. So those are some things you can think about. Also, if you've got just prominent, if you have this many planets in Capricorn, you may feel it too. If you have anything in that 26 to 28 degrees, especially of Capricorn, Cancer, Aries, and Libra, you may feel that as well because this moon and its big gathering around it are interacting with that space in your chart too. So those are some things to keep in mind for this new moon. One step at a time. That's what was it? It's a really weird metaphor, but like, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Don't eat an elephant. Probably not a great idea. Would rather we didn't. But think about a large thing that you can eat one bite at a time. How do you eat a birthday cake, right? One slice at a time. Birthday cakes sound like a lot more fun to me. So that is a little bit about the new moon this week and what we can think about in our personal lives, what we might see coming up, just in a very general sense, in the headlines and things around us. Remember to take what you hear and form your own opinions about it. Let your feelings have their point, and then let them become something that motivates you in a way that I always try to get myself to neutral. Like if I feel extraordinarily angry or extraordinarily excited, I feel like, now that I'm ADHD, right? But I feel like those two extremes are not my best place to take action from. I try to wait, sleep on it, whatever, until I can get to a point where I'm like, I feel good about this. Like I don't feel anything about it. So I'm going to go ahead and do it. That's my favorite energy to move from because it's such an imperturbable place. I'm not ready to fight someone, or I'm not going to try to, keep my illusions intact. I'm going to just go and be as rational and real as I can be. I'll be in the moment. I will be in control of myself. And I will be in those moments, it's just so nice to witness the moment, be so present in myself, and make decisions that feel so aligned without worry of panic or anything like that. Yeah. So I hope that really helps. Lambus bread. I just saw a recipe for lambus bread on my timeline earlier. One bite at a time. Yeah, it's filling stuff, you guys. So I hope that is helpful. I hope that the new moon is one that is something that you can find, plant a seed. If there's something that you can plant even physically, something that, it's not the best time of year for planting, but there are some things that you can still find ways to plant, even if it's a plant inside your house. Um, Give yourself that. Even if you just sink your hands into soil or something that is grounding. Grounding techniques feel like they're also going to be very helpful right now and moving forward. The Aries ingress for 2026 is a Gemini rising. Gemini is a sign that is air and mutable. So there's a lot of instability. Think turbulence in the airplane, right? The airplane's not going down. Fun fact. Airplanes do not crash because of turbulence. It's not really a big factor. So when you have turbulence, ride it out. It's your anxiety more than anything. But that is a lot of instability. That's a lot of change, and it's not fun, right? We do feel anxiety about that. Our body has a reaction. So we're looking at a year where the plane of society is heading into a little bit of turbulence, but like I said, in and among that, we see things that we can find, as one of my mentors calls it, refugia. What is your refugia? What do you go to just come back to yourself, to give yourself calm, to get out of the windstorm for a minute and find some warmth before, if you choose to, you go back outside? Those are the things to keep in mind for yourself. You have a right to whatever your version of refugia is. I spent the weekend playing video games, and I highly recommend it. So thank you guys for coming to my new moon TED Talk, and I hope this was really helpful. Do we have any questions about this new moon before I take the chart down? Let me go through this. Haha. Say no to mean girls all the time. Yep. Don't listen to the burn book. I had a dream that I woke up and it was noon, and then you woke up for real. I can't stand those dreams. I constantly have dreams where either I wake up too late or somebody wakes, like I'm awake with people that need me and I can't go through my morning routine. And I'm just like, okay, I'll do this, but I got to get back and get this done. Okay, I'll do this, but I got to get this done. And that's one of my very common dreams. Type A as I may be. Hi, Erroneous. It's good to see you. Feeling aligned with the stars right now. Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I was listening to another astrologer that I respect going through his study of the Aries ingress using a lot of the medieval Islamic astrologers who were amazing at their work. And he is able to translate directly a lot of those documents, which I do not have access to because they're not written in translation yet. So I can't read them because I don't speak Arabic and that kind of stuff. But hearing him translate and hearing him go over what he knows, it's like, oh, so it's stuff that I'm starting to synthesize, which is great. But um, but just going through the year, it was like, okay, mental health days, as Hunter is bringing up, are important. So yes, fourth house is like your self-care days. Think about the fourth house as like home days, those days where you just stay home, do comfy stuff, take care of yourself, have a spa day, that kind of stuff. 12th house would be your mental health days. If you wanted to look at the chart that way, for sure, I would look at the moon in the 12th house and say, yeah, it's a good mental health day for me, especially if it's a full moon or a new moon. I take extra care of myself when there's a full moon in Libra, which will be coming up in a couple months. Yay. If your annual perfection sign matches the Aries ingress, will that heighten the attributes of that sign for my year? Shauna, I'm not really sure what you mean by that. Is your annual perfection a Gemini rising? Is that your solar return, or is Gemini activated in your annual perfection? Is that the sign that's active for you this year? I don't think so. Either way, thinking about it, just the Aries ingress is a Gemini rising, but that's not going to, bleed into your personal experience very much. So either way, I don't think so. If your solar return is, that's a different story. Remember, we're thinking you-centric on that one. You had a card that aligned. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Here's the thing. When I think of multiple divination techniques, I often find it's even when someone gets a consultation with me and with M, they'll say, "Oh yeah, M said a similar thing," or a different psychic said a similar thing. Yeah, it's still your energy that we're reading, and hopefully if you've got good diviners, they're reading from a similar book. So it should work. And it should complement each other, and I take that as really good validation on my part that if the cards aligned with this, then hopefully my interpretations are also helpful and have integrity. um, yeah, your birthday's on the 19th. Sounds like an important one, especially given it's close to your Saturn return. Oh, you have Saturn in Aries, Hunter. That's right. Yep. Yep. Yeah. So there we are. Yeah. If you have, well, Hunter, also consider, because this is ruled by Capricorn, so it being your Saturn return is something to maybe factor in. But this is where, as an astrologer, if I were like, is this new moon important? Again, those angles that I talked about before, the cardinal ones, Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn. If you have one of those as your angles, I would notice that. If you have one of Capricorn or Saturn are active in your timing, so that would be a Capricorn perfection year, or maybe an Aquarius perfection year too, because it's also ruled by Saturn. Those might bring this forward a little bit. Um, yeah, so it's amazing how specific and personalized we can make astrology when we use all of its techniques. Um, and I just love it more for that. I think that's really great to be able to acknowledge, like, oh, hey, it's not just, Myers Briggs. We're not trying to categorize people into 12 boxes. We're coming in layer by layer to the core of this person and what their experience is, and very specifically able to help them. So that's always very important to me, to make sure that people feel as unique as they are. I love astrology for that. It has changed the way I interact with people on a daily basis, because I see people and I'm like, they are expressing their charts. And I know how every chart is so unique. So yeah, so those are things to keep in mind. Saturn is your chart ruler, Hunter. So this is a Saturn ruled thing. Also just Saturn and Saturn's condition. You are always pretty much in line with Saturn. So that's something to also just remember, like, you and Saturn have a relationship already. So I wouldn't be like, oh no, but I would say, like, yeah, this is one of the moods of Saturn that we're experiencing. Yeah. Awesome. Cool, cool, cool. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, cool. Awesome. Well, I am feeling like we're pretty complete with this, and I can probably take the chart down unless there's a big question that someone wants to ask. So type it in the chat now, or be prepared to see my face take up the entire screen. Oh no. All right. Stop sharing. There we go. Cool. Oh, yeah. So, with that, how's everybody else doing? What's going on? How are things? What are you focused on right now? Love the core. This is Jack. This is actually a picture of Jack. So this is Jack, the best buddy boy. Zelda's right over here. I was wearing her shirt on the ink spill on Friday, so I figured I'd bookend the weekend with pictures of the pups. She's sleeping right now. She's actually dreaming, which is really cute. She's got a green thread stuck to her paw that I will have to address later. I do not know where that came from. Trying to manifest more creativity. Do you have astrological suggestions for that? Um, my first reaction is, you don't need astrology to give you permission to lean into your creativity. Can I look for times when creative efforts might pop up a little bit more? Sure, I would look for, like, fifth house perfection years, and like when the moon's in your fifth or whatever. But honestly, this is maybe unimpressive of me, but just decide that creativity is what you're focused on right now, and let yourself go with it. Let it be fun. Let nothing else get in your way. Don't let astrology slow you down or speed you up or anything like that. For creativity, nothing is as conducive to letting it go as just letting it. Um, yeah. So if you're manifesting in more in creativity, my recommendation here is, what does that look like? What does daily life look like when you are creative? When you think about creativity, is that writing, painting, crochet? What does creativity mean for you? One of my biggest cornerstones of this year, I guess, is tangible success. Let's make visible goals for ourselves, ones that we can see and work towards so that when we get there, we get to celebrate. I have done this to myself a lot. And it's a pattern from childhood where success was never quantified. And so you never reached it. And then you never felt enough and you never felt like you were trying hard enough, or you always had to do another 110%, whatever that meant. And so this year, in any goals, and especially in creative ones, I have a creative goal right now as well. Just figure out what creativity looks like for you, and then what kind of space sets you up to have it. I rearranged my whole living room this year and I got a new keyboard and a new computer setup, and I saved up and I made it happen, and it's now perfect where I'm back to writing 1 to 2,000 words a day, and it feels good. And I realized my routine and my writing ritual requires TV in the background. Right now it's Golden Girls or Gilmore Girls, whichever one happens to be on the channel at the time, and a coffee is perfect. And then this keyboard that sounds really good when it's typing, and being able to watch the TV when I need a mental break, and then going back in, and a really comfortable chair. I have this recliner chair that's super comfortable and I can lean back. So like there's no discomfort. And that's what I need right now. And I have it, and I've been productive, and my story is coming along and my characters are coming forward. And so I found out what my creativity needs. And that's my suggestion. And I did it by saying, like, when I felt my best in writing, what was I doing? And it was when I was a kid. I would just lounge out on a couch. My dad was back there, random TV show on, laptop in my lap, and I would write it out. And so I replicated that as much as I could, and it's been amazing. It's been really amazing. It's so good for my mental health to write and sing every day. Singing helps release my anxiety and tension, like physically makes me feel better. And writing makes me feel all of the self-worth I want to feel. It helps me like feel like I am valued in myself, in my energy, like all of those things. I notice when I don't get to do them in a day. And I'm in a 12th house year, so I've been very conscious about my mental health this year. And even my therapist notices a difference. So I take it. Creativity is very important to me. My chart ruler is in the 5th house of creativity. So I do require those escapes. I do require daydreams in my life. And if I don't have them, I drag. You got a nice keyboard and headphones and you're happy, isn't it? It's just so good. And like I found naturally, like it wasn't I have to get these words done. I have to get these words done or it's never going to get done. It was like I have coffee, I have keyboard, I have screen, I have Golden Girls. Life is good. Like before I know it, 1,000 words are done in like 30 minutes. And I'm just like, this is feeling like me again. And I love it. By the way, the book I'm writing is a fiction one. It's based on Mesopotamian astrology, and it actually follows a real chart. So the events unfold in real time according to the chart, and it's really interesting. And the main characters are the planetary deities of Sumerian mythology, primarily. So if that sounds fun to read, please be excited and let me know and stick around, because I am going to be pitching this to agents probably around my birthday or before May. I've got good astrology coming up for career stuff starting in April, and I've got really good astrology coming up for publishing success coming up this year too. So the odds are finally in my favor for that. And then hopefully there will be a publisher maybe by the end of the year, and I'll be able to talk to you guys about that too. So thank you for the good vibes. I appreciate it. I'm excited about this book. I love it. The characters are really interesting. There's some complexities coming in. Everything that I'm learning from my 12th house year is getting molded into it. And I'm grateful for it. So I hope that it comes out as well as I hope it does, and that it's as fun and useful for you guys as I hope it will be. Yeah. Yeah, Mesopotamian astrology, man. It was because it was much more observational, and I was talking to Eric Purdue, who is one of the primary translators of a lot of astrological texts from Latin. Um, and we were just talking about how, some of this may have been observational over eras of time, but some of it also seems channeled and then experimented with, channeled and tested and then affirmed by observation. So that's really fun too. Um, and just the civilization of Mesopotamia. I learned the word henotheism like a year or two ago and fell in love with the concept. Um, and that was something that was a concept then as well. And it's really one of the themes is the evolution from pantheism and then the insertion of monotheism and how one may overtake in popularity or influence, but how everything still has a place and a spot and is still able to be there. So that's coming through a little bit, and I'm being careful with it. Um, but yeah, it's turning into something really interesting, and I already know that my characters are going to totally disregard my outline. Uh, they've already started. My characters are like, yeah, that's cute. They're still following the chart, ironically. But what I thought it was going to be, they're like, no, see, it's more than that. This person's actually this. And I'm like, oh, man. So the twists and the turns are surprising me. And hopefully that means that they will be surprising and enjoyable for you too. Um, yeah, your guides told you you're in your eighth house. So astrologically, I could look for that, and it's 1 year out of every 12. You would be in your eighth house perfection year, or using different timing techniques, whatever. Have you looked at your chart, Allison? This is something that I would really want to look at your chart for, and that would be done in a personal consultation, because the eighth house of your chart could have a lot of planets in it. It depends on what your guides mean by that. So my first step with that would be to pull up your chart, and then also for you to ask your guides, what do you mean by that? Can I have more context, please? Because um, a light there, I don't think there's anything astrological timing wise that would be a lifetime position outside of the fact of a prominent planet being in that sign for you. So if I can help nudge in any one direction or another, I would say look at your eighth house and see if there's a planet there and see if it's important. Far be it from me to know what your guides are up to. They're probably doing something amazing. Best that I can contribute to that would be, if we're looking at lifetime things, then you're looking at a natal placement. That's the one thing that remains the same throughout your life. Yeah, I hope that helps. You want so badly to be Sophia, but I know I'm a Rose. Oh, man, I think I definitely fall in the either. I mean, Sophia would be ironic. I'm Sophia when I'm not masking. I'll be honest. I am Sophia more when I'm not masking. I'm probably a little bit more Dorothy than I want to be. I'd love to, minus the hypersexuality. I'm ace and I really enjoy it. And I'm also non binary. So there's that. But I love the unmitigated confidence of Blanche. I would love that a little bit. Yeah. I haven't, but we'll book us. Oh, yay, cool. Could mean promise of Neptune moon. Are they conjunct in your eighth house? Um, or Pisces moon, do you mean? Yeah, I'll look forward to the session because it sounds like we'll have a good time. Jenny, I found kind of fun past life channeling that works for you. Yay! Make up a little mini stories about your past lives, at least the ones you know about. That works. I will say I'm a full I and I'll give you a couple reasons for this because I'm a very evidential person. But when it comes to like past lives and stuff, make it up, then find evidence, right? Make it up, let it come out first, then find support. So I think you're doing a great job. That's how I would do it too. I don't have past lives. It's a little complicated, but for the people that do, I've seen that be very helpful. I can channel in previous lives, but they're not mine. I get bonus experience from them sometimes. Um, yeah. Yep. Yay. Oh, Allison, I'll look forward to the session. Thank you. Cool. Yay. This will be good. All right. So we still have about 15 minutes. Things feel quiet right now. The energy feels quiet. And I'm like looking at the transits of the day and I'm like, okay, okay. So today and tomorrow, let's talk about the transits this week, shall we? Does that sound good? Today and tomorrow, there are no major perfecting transits. The first transit that we're really looking at is going to be the Mercury Jupiter opposition on the 14th. I'm not super concerned with that. It's going to be Mercury and Capricorn opposite. Is that? Oh, yeah, because I'm looking ahead. I'm like, why does that not match the moon? Because the moon's already ahead of that. Sorry, guys. My brain's catching up. Yeah, the energy feels suspiciously quiet today. I'm like, why do I feel like there's cotton in my ears? So let's pay attention to that. Oh, also, speaking of things that are happening today, some people on Patreon have already seen it, but the Alchemist Inkwell podcast episode that releases today on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts was fun for us to record last week. We'll be recording next week's today. But we did this thing where there's just so many things going on right now. And I think I did, because I can't help myself. I think I did in the episode say, like, this is so important to remember during yeah, goat yoga. This is so important to remember this year, especially, even more so. I quantified it in the podcast last week with the Saturn Neptune situation, but even more so after looking more into the interpretations of the Aries ingress, to be discerning in your spirituality and what you believe comparatively or openly to what other people believe, but just knowing where you stand on something is so important. And this episode, I hope, really helps to bring in the permission of spiritual integrity and discernment, and allowing yourself, again, henotheism is the idea that everyone believes what they believe and everybody else is okay with it. Great. That means that if someone disagrees with what you believe, it doesn't make you or them wrong. It just says two people believe two different things. Okay. So we did an AITAH. Am I the a-hole? Is what we did. We went on Reddit and we found a couple Am I the a-hole posts about spiritual situations. And Em and I gave our take. And I hope it's helpful. Again, it's our take on those things. And it was fun. It was fun, and we would do it again. So let us know if that's something that you really liked, and we can bring that in every once in a while. We are really trying to grow the podcast this year. One of the reasons being, if the podcast grows and perhaps gets sponsorships or things like that, we can be supported by those sponsorships and offer more free value to you guys. We would like to not have to ask for support in a financial context, especially from the people that we care about and that we're trying to help. Because why should you have to pay for things? So the more we can get visibility and awareness, the more we can attract people who can sponsor us and give us more flexibility and freedoms to do more. So that's the goal. So please feel free to download the episodes, comment on them, interact with them, share them, whatever. The best organic reach is going to be the best strategy there too. So great. Funny to listen to last night, Sean. I'm glad you liked it. Even your workload has been suspiciously light for a Monday. Yeah. I don't know. Podcast is so important, so needed. Thank you. Thank you, Lauren. I appreciate hearing that so much. We really enjoy it. It's so aligned and fluid for us. And I am grateful every day for the podcast and for the things Em and I get to do together, because wow, do we have a good time. And it's great, right? Because Em and I, again, we each have things that we believe in common and then things that we do differently. And I think, again, you get the comparative options just even from that one podcast. And one of the things I always appreciate about Em is how open she is to the way things go and differences and things and that kind of stuff, and how firm still in her own beliefs and the things that are important to her. That's integrity, and I love it. So is it like the eye of the storm calm energy? I don't want to say yes, so I'm going to look at but I have a feeling the answer is yes, Erin. So we are in a week where, the 14th, like I said, Mercury opposite Jupiter. And then on the 15th, Venus will trine Uranus and form a sextile aspect with Saturn. Venus trine Uranus, we'll see how that goes. And then there's just a lot going on as Venus moves into Aquarius, the new moon on the 18th with Mercury conjunct Mars. Sun trines Neptune. So Neptune's going to get ready to station direct soon. Finally, it's going to be a while yet, but we know it's coming. But then the following week, we do have a couple conjunctions with several planets and Pluto. Mars will finally get out of Capricorn. This is also the week, right? We saw Mars is creeping up on Mars's exaltation degree. Mars has been annoying this year. Remember, Mars is a ruler of battles, conflicts, wars, soldiers, blah, blah, blah. And so we've seen Mars rearing its stupid face for the past like a little over a month while Mars has been in Capricorn. So I'm ready for Mars to get the heck out of Capricorn. Yeah. Oh, cool. Jenny, one of your past lives sold perfumes in Greece. And that's probably even more magical than we realize. Perfumes are very important in magical things and as deity offerings. So that's cool. Yeah. Kathy, thank you. I'm so glad you find the podcast joyful. I do too. It brings me joy. I look forward to it. But yeah, these couple days may be an eye of the storm situation because I can't think of anything that's happened so far that feels finished. If we're just being rational about it, we're very much in the thick of it, and we'll figure it out. There's that saying again. We'll figure it out, and I believe in us. I'm excited to see how we make the future what it needs to be. That's one of the things that I keep reminding myself. But yeah, we have, oh, you know what? I think when does Neptune go direct? It's wild. So Neptune goes direct at some point or has gone direct probably before this. And I forgot to update my document. But I do see that Neptune on the 26th, right before Pluto and Mars conjoin on the 27th. So this is looking a little bit extra ahead, but those are the ones that Monday and Tuesday. So I should be here for this. I'm going to be traveling out to see M in not this weekend, but next weekend. I should be home that Monday to do our mood boost, and we can talk about Neptune going into Aries. That's a big deal. It's been since the 1800s that Neptune's been in Aries, so it's been a while. And we'll talk about that Mars conjunction and that kind of stuff. It'll be right before the full moon in Leo. So good stuff. Yeah. The astrology is astrologying. I met with my mentor on Thursday, and Thursday was a day after the Mars Venus situation that happened, and both of us were just like, how are you? Well, I wish the astrology weren't doing so potently what it says it's going to do. But that's how conversations between astrologers go these days. Like, dang it, not more. But we do got this. I agree. Yep. Okay. Yeah. I choose to be excited for what we will make of these circumstances. I know that does not take away the work that the circumstances will require, but I also know that the goal is going to be what motivates me, that the manifestation of the feelings I would like for the society to have are going to be the things that kind of give structure and form to what I want to see. And I'm going to help with that. Again, one of the things I'm really excited about, and I'm going to talk more about it because, if you can, it's a really cool thing. The monks doing their walk of peace are going to be coming through Richmond in early February. I can't wait to help them and their dog. So, I see an opportunity in that. I'm going to take it. And there are those things around, and there probably will be more and more the deeper into this we go. Yep. Everyone here has gone through crazy stuff and will continue to do so. Yeah. And, I love the monks too. I really do. I acknowledge that there have been sometimes that have been intensely difficult. And we are in one of them. Some people are having an extremely hard time right now, harder than I can fathom. And so I'm just going to look for a way that I can, as Mr. Rogers would put it, I'm going to look for a way to be one of the helpers. And I'm going to look for the other helpers and support them just as much as I can. So that's within my power, and that's the kind of powerful I want to be. Extraordinarily helpful. Yep. Yep. Yeah. May we all find ways to be a helper, help a helper, and have refugia in between. Refugia is a great, amazing, fancy sounding word. It just means refuge, but refugia is more of the intangible concept of like, how do you give yourself rest and where do you find peace among the tempest? So I hope that helps you guys too. I will be meeting again with this is my theology mentor that I discussed this with. I'm going to be meeting with him this week again to chat a little bit. I'm contributing to he's doing a doctorate program on incorporating magic into more formal education for priests and things. And I'm like, I'm down with that. If we're going to infuse folk magic and astrology in there and like bring the magic back into things, which it should be, it was there before. So yay, that's going to be good. I'm glad to be able to contribute to that too. How do you give yourself rest? Yep. I give myself rest. Truly, I'm playing video games. I'm playing video games. I'm cuddling my dogs. You know what? We've got 4 minutes. I'm going to give us all a little bit of rest and some energy and an image for you to be able to take and use. Hang on a second, baby girl. Here she is. This is the best emotional support I have ever found. No offense, Dan, right here. She is lovely. She is adorable. She's a good little Virgo and she takes care of everybody. And right now she's going through a bit of a tough time too. We're getting her help. But if you have any prayers for animals that you'd like to put up, let us have some help for this baby girl. She's healthy. There's just some stuff going on and we don't really know what it is yet. And we're getting her what she needs this week. And hopefully we'll be able to get her what she needs because she's adorable and she does so much for the family. And we want to make sure we give back. Yeah. So she's the best Virgo, probably a little bit too good of a Virgo. I think she's stressed herself out to a certain point because she was my anchor this past year. Hang on, baby girl. Let me get this down for you. And then you can have more of a platform. Cool. There you go. Don't fall. That's your side of the chair now, okay? Cool. Corgi butt. One of the best things in the world. Yeah. She's a good girl. Yeah. And she's soft too. I wish I could show you how soft she is. She's such a good girl. Yeah. And this is her brother who is over there crying right now because he wants to be included, but we'll get there. The eyebrows, right? And she's got a heart on her nose, which is also really great. She's concerned about her brother right now, but if you want to look, here you go, baby girl. She has played D&D with me before, and she'll get your feet under you. There you go. You can see her little heart on her nose. There it is. That little pink one. She's such a good girl. Yeah. Thanks, AJ. Yeah, sending all the positive vibes to Zelda Bear this week. She's a bear. I don't know if you can tell, but this is a bear. She knows it. She's formidable. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. I'm going to put her down right now so she can go tend to her brother. Here you go. Thank you, baby. She is a bear. Yeah. Okay. Well, like I said, I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Please feel free to check out the podcast today. I will see you guys on Wednesday. We'll be able to talk about the new moon, some more stuff, whatever you want to talk about. Cozy gaming, real magic, Wednesday. We're going to be working towards a temple in Breath of the Wild. And then we're going to move over to a game called Rika, which is going to get into some of the lore about Baba Yaga. So we'll be learning more about that soon too. So feel free to join us. It's a ton of fun, and it's just really fun for me to do. And I've seen some people who are really enjoying it too. You guys help me a bunch when it comes to puzzles and things. So I will see you guys on Wednesday in, virtual real life, and then live again on the Ink Spill right here on Friday. So Twitch on Wednesday, Twitch all the time, except for this one if you want. But yeah, so we'll see you on YouTube primarily on Friday. There's a ton of stuff. We simulcast on Friday, so it's great. Yeah. So thank you. See you guys. Like I said, Wednesday and Friday are my live broadcasts for the rest of the week. I go live 3 times a week, and I hope that these can be islands for you like they are for me. And I will see you in all of them. In the meantime, catch you on social media and such, or in the Patreon. We have a good time there too. Have a great day, you guys. Thank you for being here. It makes my week too. Stay safe.